What's up, guys? Welcome to today's session. My name is Samson Mzera, and I will be taking you through what happened this week. There's a lot that happened, especially with things like gold and the news that came in. So we'll be covering that. And there's a few things that I want us to talk about regarding our expectations for next week, because we have non-farm ADP and the normal non-farm coming out also. So let me just share my screen quickly and we can begin. Let's see. Yeah, so I hope you can see my screen. Okay, so if you're in the chat, also just say hi. It's good to know who is around. Feel free to ask questions as we continue with this section. Okay, so just a quick summary of what has happened. Let me see if this one can. Yeah, so this is basically this week. Yeah, a list of currencies. We have Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, all the way to US dollar. So you can see there is some sort of strengthening of the US dollar from this. Feels like, especially from yesterday's news, there is a lot going on with regards to inflation and market perception. So the US dollar is currently the most strongest if you look at a trending chart. But for the past 4 hours, or in a time frame of 4 hours, it's the pound and the euro that have really took the day yesterday when it comes to currencies. And then followed closely, you can see that we have Japanese yen starting to weaken. So we'll look at this in a bit also. And then we have these two. So we have the euro and the pound, which look like we'll continue seeing an upward trajectory in them. And then Swiss franc had a lot of weakening yesterday, especially after the news. I can see, let me see the comments. Yeah, hey Jason, hey Malombe. As I can see, guys, in the chat, common attendees. It's good to see you. Okay, so just from looking at this, we can tell that yesterday's news. Sorry about that. So I was saying, just from looking at this, you can tell that yesterday's news really had an impact on the perception of the market. So let's just quickly go through that. On Thursday, we had the core PCE coming in. So this is the core PCE index over here, and it came in within expectation. And now we had very different reactions with this, considering we saw gold really going up while pound and euro was going down. So the thing is, what is causing that deviation in chart movements? And then the other thing that we have is we had the prelim CPI from Germany, which came in slightly lower than expected, and the like. So if I was to, let's just first quickly go through the charts. So if you are to look at the charts, so if I was to quickly go through the charts, you can see that from yesterday's reaction, before the news, we were trending lower. Good morning, Sam. Good morning. Okay. So from yesterday's news, before the news, we were trending lower. And then when the news came in, we had that small reaction over there. And then after that, towards the evening, what happened is things just started dropping. EU dropped, GU, same story. We had this move over here, which was the market trending downwards. And then the reaction was like a strong dollar. So, sorry, the reaction was a weak dollar at first. That means GU strengthened during the news. And then after a few hours after the news, we had this drop over here. Now, if you look at gold, it's quite different, because if you look at gold, what happened was before the news, we were all trending lower. And then after that news, we just kept on trending higher and higher until the point we are at the moment. Now, the thing is, why did gold move high while GU and EU move in the opposite direction? So that's what we'll be trying to decode today, and it's going to give us a direction for next week. One thing to note about gold is we are in a channel. So if I just go to the 4-hour time frame, actually the 1 hour presents it better. We're sort in a channel trending upwards. So you can see we've been bouncing off these points over here, that point over there, and this point over here. And then on the top, we have these points over here watch out for, and that's where we seem to have been on yesterday. So it seems to have moved like that. But then if you look at an even larger time frame, there was some sort of imbalance. So there was this massive sell that happened over here. So the market sold from there, and it seemed as though we are finally getting back to feeling that imbalance. So that's one thing to note about gold. We had this huge imbalance from here and this point over here. So you can, from those who are trading supply demand and things like that, you can tell that the market usually is attracted to imbalances. But I don't think that's the only reason why gold went up, to fill this void over here. So we'll be looking, we'll be watching out for more news. But just to get again a summary, we had the dollar weakening, sorry, the dollar strengthening a few hours after the news. So it seemed as though that inflation news wasn't really of a big deal, because remember, what we saw was the core PCE coming in as expected, and ING puts it nicely. Let's just go to ING. There's an article that puts it nicely. So this came in on 28th, yeah, and it says, yeah, so you're getting on you're getting on the view of inflation. But if you just read this, hot inflation is already baked in. US rates have been trading sideways for the past few sessions, but the core PCE on Thursday can offer some direction. Consensus is a hot 0.4. Remember, we had an upside surprise to inflation for CPI, yeah, and the market was kind of expecting a hotter reading. In this case, over here, 0.4. That was the expectation. So you're expecting, when there is news and we already have an expectation, the market will trend as though that expectation is the actual thing. Yeah. What do you expect when the inflation is high? You expect a strong dollar. A strong dollar means what? A strong dollar means currencies go down. So you can see that a few hours before the news, we were trending down, and that's why we started with analyzing the session before the news on all the currencies. We had that push downward. So this is the hourly chart for yesterday. So I'm just going to clear this and this over here. Yeah. So we had the market already pricing in the possibility of that inflation reading. So before 4:30, and in which case now we are 1 hour behind, because now it's 11 and here it's saying it's 10. So this will be around 3:30. So hours before 3:30, we had some sort of strength in the market. So that's one way to trade the news. You can always trade the expectations before the news, because they will follow what the news is doing. So in this case, euro was weakening against the dollar, and GU was also weakening hours before the news. Yeah, so that's one style or one way to trade the news, which is looking at expectations and just trading that before the announcement is made. Yeah, now that is what explains why we had a lot of repricing when the actual figure came in, yeah, which is 0.4, which I think this one explains it. The Fed's favored measure of inflation came in at 0.4 month to month, which is double what we had the previous month. I'm going to jump here. So the core PCE deflator didn't come in 0.4, as the market had anticipating, following those elevated CPI and PPI prints. Remember, the past readings for CPI and PPI were also hot. Hot readings, strong dollar. Weak readings, weak dollar. So I think that makes sense. But given the recent performance of US data, the fear was we could get yet another upside. Now, this is why I think the market shot up after the news. Everyone was expecting, because we had CPI coming in, it was hotter than expected. PPI came in, it was hotter than expected. NFP came in, it was hotter than expected. So people were expecting that there is a possibility of us getting a higher number than 0.4. Yeah, and that is why when we didn't get that number higher than 0.4, what happened? We that move like that. Yeah, so this explains the second leg of the move, this one. So now I'll remove this. Let me just remove everything. That explains the second leg of the move, which on the chart, because you're 1 hour behind, is from 3. Yeah, there's that repricing when the market is reassessing the expectations. Remember, I usually give a good example of land. If you are expecting a road to be built on some parcel of land, prices are going to act right now. People are going to be selling the parcel of land at a higher price right now. Yeah, it's not going to be during the announcement of, oh, when they're building that road. Prices are going to rise even before the news. The same thing with market expectations. Traders will act even before the news is announced, and if the news comes in differently, then they correct and come back to where they were. So now that is true for euro and for pound. That's why we had this push upwards. Now the difference is with the euro and the pound, later we still continued heading lower. So we have that for that, and we have this move for here, over here. So we pushed lower. However, now if you look at gold, that reaction didn't recover. We just kept on going up and up and up and up. So let me just zoom this one quickly. So instead of us doing this and then after the reaction recovering, we are sort of elevated at this point over here. Now that is why gold had an interesting reaction. We didn't go up then continue going back down. It just went up and stayed up. Now one of the reasons for this discrepancy could be that the euro and the euro and UK economies are also looking sluggish, and people don't have confidence in them, because remember the overall trend. Is there one that can give a good? So remember the overall trend for the past, I think, a few days. Is it 1 week? Yeah, we've just been trending. This is the start of the week. So we've just been trending lower. And if you look at the market structure, now let's talk about market structure. We start with GU before we go to gold. If you look at the market structure, we did break a low. So remember our key high. Okay, so our key high in this case is the base, this push that caused a break of previous structure over here. So this is the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, so this push that caused a break of previous structure like that is where we should be marking our low. So this is potentially our low like that. Yeah, because this move really broke structure. The subsequent moves didn't manage to break structure. Like for example, this move over here, it seems as though we failed to go higher than this point, and all the subsequent pushes, it seems as though we have failed to go higher. So that's one thing you need to be very careful about if you're thinking of going long on this chart. Now it seems as though buyers have weakened because you are unable to form new highs, and what has happened is we've had such a strong move, which was this one. We've had such a strong move downwards that it broke these previous turning points. So this can also be a key point to watch out for if you are trading. So I'll mark that like that. Yeah. Now, why have we arrived at that? Because this move broke turning points. It broke at least this turning point and this low over here. So this can be a source of a key move. So let me just mark these levels permanently. This is GU. So if you have any other charts you need to look at, also just mention them on the comment section, and then we can get to them also. I know there is USD CHF, which also had a very big reaction. We have quite a number of currencies that reacted quite heavily. So there's that move, yeah. So that's marked properly. So if you go to the lower time frame, then maybe I can look for a zone here that we can use. That one over there. Yeah. So it seems as though sellers are gaining control of this market because the selling seems to be much stronger than the buying. Yeah, seems to be way much stronger than the buying because of what you said. This is the only move that broke structure. The rest of the moves just maintained within this and this point over here. So we didn't have buyers continuing the momentum. However, we had sellers going down like that. And we had, from that key move, we had another break of structure at this point. So it seems as though it's very interesting to know if we'll be able to go low. Now, what will I be looking for? Because I expect, and now let's tie it in with fundamentals. On the fundamentals front, before now we come to this, we expect, where is it? Mhm. Let's go back to the calendar. Yeah, so this is what this is a video, but generally what people are saying is it seems as though inflation is not coming down anytime soon, and that means the Fed is not going to start reducing interest rates anytime soon. Yeah, so that means we might see a stronger dollar for longer. And if you expect a stronger dollar, you can see even the XY is a bit strong from yesterday. If you expect a stronger dollar for longer, then chances are we might continue seeing that downwards trend continue as is. Yeah, so there's a high probability for that. Let me just auto fit this, and so we might expect DXY to trend to chug along slowly higher. That gives us room to see whether we can find any opportunities on this chart. So I can, like, for example, draw a fib here like that and wait to see what happens. Any changes of structure on, if now this price goes above the 50 level on this move that broke structure, then I'll be waiting to see if there are any key levels on the smaller time frame that now I can be using to trade. For example, you have very nice gaps here and things like that. So that's one way to look at GBP USD. Yeah. Same thing with euro. Again, if you are struggling with the analysis, you can just rewind and then follow it slowly. Yeah. Same thing with this one. The last key move that broke structure was this move. Yeah. So we look at this low and this high. As long as prices are in within this range, that low and sorry, that high and that low. Yeah. Those are our key areas to look to watch out for. Yeah. But then again, we had a minor break of structure on this. So you can see they're very similar. So this push over here also kind of broke structure, this one. So this move over here. So this can also be an interesting area. Remember, we're looking to see if will actually break so that now you can say it's a downtrend. We're just waiting for technical confirmation, which is the same thing with GBP USD. We're waiting for technical confirmation at this bottom here. If we pass this bottom, then now we know we're in a downtrend, which is also looking very likely. So let's go back to this. Same story. If I go to 1 hour, if I go to the 1 hour like that, I can see that this is the move that broke structure. I don't think here we managed to go lower. So I'll just look. Yeah, we did. Kind of did. Kind of broke. So this is not as clear as GBP USD, although it's still. So let me remove these ones. Oh, remove everything. So that low, key low that we talked about, and that key high, this is what is guiding us on our higher time frame. What direction is the market going? Yeah, and we've broken structure over there, so it means we might be interested to know if we will reach these lows and break them. Now, this move is what we're also watching out for on the lower time frame, and you can mark your fib tool like that and wait for key levels within this move. So you can wait for maybe a change of character on a smaller time frame, maybe 15 minutes, and then that can guide you if you want to continue being short this market. So that's one thing to watch out for. I hope those two are very clear. Let's see. Yeah, so if you have any charts you want us to look at, just raise them or just type them in the chat section. Now, the other one that we are watching out for is this one, yeah, gold. So this here was a level that I was anticipating maybe we will get into, yeah, but it seems as though we haven't quite reached there. We've just gotten into the top of this channel over here. So again, because this move is unexplained, remember all the other currencies, we had a reaction. As we had a reaction upwards and then it corrected. Also for Euro USD, we had some reaction upward and then it corrected. The only thing that didn't correct was gold. So it's looking like if in the event we see consistent structure, if in the event we see consistent structure, like for example, right now it's breaking, then we need to see a confirmation at least before you say you want to sell. So yeah, so this imbalance might potentially be filled. If it doesn't get filled, then we know that the market is still aiming for this zone over here. So if we see that the market is still reluctant to go lower or to break structure, then we know that this might be the zone where we might now start looking for any opportunities. Yeah. Other than that, let's see if we'll manage to get to the lower point of this channel over here, based off of this large wicked candle right now. Yeah, so that's one thing you can look at. Teach us how to use the Fibonacci tool. So you can use the Fibonacci tool in many ways. Only reason I use the Fibonacci tool is, remember, when you're using your, or when you're doing your market structure, you have your impulse and correction move, impulse and correction move, like that. Yeah. So on your correction move, which is that, Fibonacci is a good tool to use to know what key levels you can use for that retracement to come in. So you can have it set like mine, or you can have it at the default readings, which let me just default. So you can have it like this. So it will give you key levels, although I just usually look at premium and discount, but you can have the key levels like that, so that now when this move is going back down for the correction, you're looking at these levels to see, especially if it's below 50, you're looking at these levels to see what are the potential areas where market structure can shift, so that now we can go in line with the trend. So Fibonacci is used by plotting on the impulse move, this move over here. Yeah. Another example is if you're in a downtrend. Now your impulse move is the opposite. So let me just draw a downtrend. If you're heading lower, or if you're in a downtrend, that means you have your impulse, which is like that, and then your correction move, and then your impulse lower, like that. Yeah, so you plot the tool on this impulse move from the top going lower, like that, so that when you have your correction move, you have at least key levels to look at on the larger time frame that can now guide you as to where market structure will change, you continue going lower. So that's how you use the Fib tool. For me, I'll just remove everything on the Fib tool and just look at impulse if it's below 50 or above 50. So I go to properties and then just go to levels and then remove all these other levels that are not 50 or 100 or 0, like that. Then, because I don't want too much clutter on the charts, I'll do that so that I have just the upper level and the lower level, simply put. So I'll just start looking for moves like that. Okay. So that's another interesting currency that had a big reaction was this one. Yeah. So if you come back to the currency strength meter, let's see. Where is it? Actually, here you can see Swiss franc is the weakest at the moment, and Australian dollar. Yeah, so these Swiss franc is actually the weakest at the moment, and if you look at its strength over time, it has been weakening. So you have been, like, it was at some point it was strong, but now it seems like it's trending lower and lower. That means we are on an uptrend on this. Yeah, again, now this is a very good one to look at, because obviously it's weak, and we know the dollar is going to be somewhat strong. Then it's going to provide us with good opportunities just to continue in that direction. So again, on the larger time frame, what are our key areas or our key levels? Moves that broke structure. So that's the top, and the bottom of this move can be, I think I can put it here. Yeah. So this is the move that broke a previous high, like that. So now this is my high, this is my low. Anything in between, I am trying to see if we'll have a continuation higher or come back down. Yeah. So again, I can wait for, if I see the price is somewhat correcting, that is, if we see a low move, if I see the price is somewhat coming lower, then now I can use my Fib to look for key areas. So for example, I can plot it like this and then wait to see what happens below 50. I usually just make it simple like that. What happens below 50? If you can have an opportunity to anywhere below the 50 level to continue going higher. Yeah. Okay, I can't find the Fibonacci tool. Looks like metacost singularity. Yeah, I tweeted that in the morning. I can't find a Fibonacci tool on MT5. Is it because I'm using the phone? So you have your Fibonacci tool on the phone. It's there. It should be there on the objects, not on the indicators. Search for the objects icon. You'll find MT5 there. Yeah. How does the DEX app work, and how does it affect prop farms? Okay, so the story for prop farms is slightly different, but we are seeing a lot of guys in the industry starting to use. Remember, MetaQuotes is a different application altogether, and it leases the software to brokers for brokers to use for their clients. Now, DX app is like a competitor to MetaTrader 5, and it seems as though a few brokers and a few prop farms are starting to adapt it. I don't think it's very good. I've seen how it's even how the pips, the candles move in 1 minute. It's very, very terrible. But anyway, hopefully it will be improved, and also more brokers will adopt it. And yeah, but at the moment it's like it's not very good. Yeah, so that's what I was trying to, because we got messages and emails on the SEM regarding the SEM, and guys wondering now how am I going to use this application. Okay, how do you identify a change in the direction of market structure? Using key laws in the trend. So there's a video on market structure you're going to do, but structure using key laws in a downtrend. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for now. We are done. We expect. I'm anticipating maybe the readings for NFP for next. Before I answer this question, I'm anticipating the readings for next week. The expectations to come out as hotter. That might guide us to continue looking for a strong dollar. If these expectations, remember what you've talked about expectations, and if you've not, you didn't find us discussing that, just rewind the video after we are done. We talked about saying that it is possible to trade expectations because the market follows expectations even before the news. So the minute we see the expectations for next week coming up, for example, the expectations for non-farm and the expectations for for ADP and JOLTS, and also Powell is speaking next week. Next week is packed. Those ones alone are enough to guide us on the direction without even waiting for the news to come in. Yeah, if your technicals align with those expectations, then it's going to be a very straightforward play for you in the charts. So they're looking forward to see when, I think it's on Sunday or Monday or something, or Saturday, when now they populate this calendar here with expectations. So that's what we'll be looking for as traders, and hopefully if it falls in line with this analysis we've done, then the better. Yeah. Okay. How do you identify change in direction? Okay, so just a quick one. I know this is not going to interest everyone, but if you're identifying a downtrend, remember to look at price as a flow instead of having to look at minute every single turn and change in the market. You're going to end up confusing yourself. So make sure to look at price as a flow. That means it will help you avoid those small changes within the larger move. So what is a kilo? A kilo is, oh sorry, this is in a downtrend. We don't have kilos in a downtrend. A key area is an area that has broken structure, and in a downtrend it's only key highs. Like this point over here, for example, is the source of the move that broke market structure. Yeah, the only kilo we'll have is when you are now changing the trend, which I think is what you're asking. Now this move is the source that broke this structure, so this becomes a key high. Why? Because it led to a break in structure. This isn't a key low because there was no structure that was broken when trading. Yeah, now if we have a move that breaks a key high like that, then now this becomes your key low. Now you want to trade away from this region over there, and the reason I'm saying you look at price in terms of impulse and correction moves. For example, in this chart we are seeing over here, we can argue, for example, this is a move, this is an impulse move. Yeah, so this is a kilo. Yeah, this is an impulse move. over here. This is a kilo over here. Now, will this be a kilo over here? Will you mark this as a lower low? The answer is no, because it didn't lead to a break of structure. Yeah, that's why you need to know what a kilo is and what a key high. But now we went and broke structure, so now this can be a key high over here. So this impulse, and that's why we had a miniature downtrend, somewhat of a downtrend. Yeah, and then now this one also led to a break on a move. So this was a key level, this is a key level. Yeah, that's how you deduce between which move you should be looking at as the lower low and which one you shouldn't be looking at. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. And when you trade expectations, do you babysit the trade, or you can set and leave? No, you're supposed to. Expectations don't come in. Okay, the thing about fundamentals is you never know when they start taking effect in the market or when they have stopped taking effect in the market. The only way you can know is when the fundamentals align with your technicals. Yeah. So if I think the dollar is going to strengthen next week, then I know GU is supposed to be dropping, euro is supposed to be dropping, but is it dropping now? No. Yeah, then you need now to look at your technicals to confirm the bias. That's why you usually start with fundamentals as a bias, and then if the technicals match, then we have a higher probability trade. If it doesn't match, well and good. In this case, your technicals confirm. Maybe now will be, because we've already discussed, for example, GU, it broke structure. Yeah, so fundamentals confirm, but I'm not just going to come and sell over here. I need now my technicals to confirm. I need to see, for example, on the lower time frame, I need to see price, so this one might be moving like that maybe for the rest of the day. I need to see evidence of a change of character. Yeah, that in that case now, price forming a key high that I can use. Yeah, something like this. Now, if here we break, for example, and we form a key high that broke structure, then now I can be looking to see, can I be able to sell? Same thing with here. We're already in an uptrend. We can wait to see, for example, a break of structure. Then now we can mark our key high, and you can say this small trend over here is changing. But I'm not just going to sell over here. Yeah, it needs to confirm. Okay, why is Kenya shilling losing again to the dollar? I think there's a price, a fair value price that the central bank wants us to be at. CPK, there's an article like this. Let's just see, just a minute. These are very old articles. There was a time I think the CPK was buying CPK price dollars. Yeah, so I think there's a fair value. So when they saw that it was dropping too much, I mean the shilling was strengthening too much, we ended up seeing the central bank trying to now weaken the dollar itself, weaken the shilling itself. So they started buying up dollars. So Kenya shilling gave up some gain on Thursday afternoon after traders say that the central bank bought dollars to curb volatility. Yeah, so it's like they weakened it. They weakened the shilling after they saw it was strengthening too much. Yeah, so maybe there's a fair value for the shilling somewhere between 150, I don't know, 150, 145 thereabouts. So that could be a reason. So we can expect the shilling to be in that range for some time. I don't know if it's going to continue weakening. I don't know, but I don't think they allow sharp movements like that in the market. Okay, I think that's that. Any other question? I think you're good for the day. Thanks for everyone who attended the session. Okay, yeah. Thanks for everyone who attended the session. Remember, if you don't have a trading account or if you want a practice account, we usually have classes, so you can always just attend those. And we will be looking at the expectations for next week. Yeah, if you don't have anything to trade on Friday, don't worry. You can always come back, and after you have your expectations printed out, then you can now match your technicals with your fundamentals, because the expectations there's a high likelihood that we'll be looking at a strong dollar next week because of NFP expectations and the ADP expectations, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the case. If the expectations come in lower, then that means a weak dollar, so then we'll have to correct. But at least if you've been attending the sessions, you know what low NFP expectations mean for the dollar. Okay, having said that, thanks for attending, and see you in the next market snapshot. At least next week we'll be busy with fundamentals. These past 2 weeks were very dry. So yeah, nice to see you. See you in the next session.